sync with the earth. 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, let her ties in the hearse. I've been on a vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I'm never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, threw that ass survive, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit it to the sky, changed haters on a tirade. Talking to the grip in the face, be still, let that hit stuff fade. We all want the same, we all want a meal in the safe. I wanna live like I'm trying to reach enlightenment. Trail spill from my lips, feel bent from the bib. Take a sip till I pass out. Try and get grit, but it don't make sense, cause you can lose life on this fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat, save a spot at the table. Beats with the slap, hit myself on the map. You long with the wind, but we knowing that it's cap. 5-hour flights, couple nights at the flat. To be real, couldn't see me making moves while I'm at. I'm still on the grind, limit time when I chat. I'm burning down sage, keep the demons away. When I write it, give a piece of myself to the page. I don't do it for the praise, love, that's just how I'm made.
See the truth in the glass in the mirror.
Yeah.
Do it at me, old man, tryna pass in the fear. You're the first one to talk, but the last one to hear. Eyes blurry, but I couldn't see that, and he cleared down. Start to feel like I'm on one. Settle in, I'll be here for the long run. I'm a slave for the cash, got snakes in the grass, no brakes on the ad, but it's all fun. We done seen it all, heard it all. Heard enough, give me space before I murder y'all. 10 bad here, I'ma curve them all. 12 missed calls, and I still made a curtain call. Here to light it up, lighten up. Hear him talking, they ain't right enough, tighten up. Everything that I came for, I left with. I don't bang sets, I just bang on the set list. Going past supper when I came for the breakfast. Put me in your prayers, I might put you on the guest list. Young, tell me reckless. Gold in my soul, got the same on my necklace.
Light it up, light it up. Light it up, light it up. Well, well. Oh, light it up, light it up. Oh, light it up, light it up. Well, well.
That's my word. I don't think they know that's my word. Yeah, that's my. Hold up.
He gonna say what they said, but so I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chick chat. With the kid, know I got the gift pack. He gonna say what they said, but so I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chick chat. With the kid, know I got the gift pack.
Keep it real with you, I've been in the field in position. Look, hey, I've been trill, you can tell by how I feel when you with me. Look, wave, tell me, can you slide for a real one?
Slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one?
Can you slide for me, slide for me?
Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for a real one?
Can't tell me nothing, I'm flexing stunting. Eating all my veggies in my pocket, half an onion. And that pack smell like a Funyun. Trump be beating, shit be humming. You can hear me around the corner before you ever see me coming. And they know just how we coming. Pants drumming, she gon' bust it open way before I finish thumbing. I can put you on some paper, proper play and teach you something. Got my stones on Himalaya, know I'm out your sucker ducking. Ain't no need for that discussion, bluffing with the game. About to build a couple million, came with nothing but my name. I'ma twist it, flip it, stick it like a bop it. Tell them stop it, all them haters out of pocket. Let me plug it like a socket, baby. He gonna say what they said, part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chick chat. With the kid, know I got the gift pack. He gonna say what they said, part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chick chat. With the kid, know I got the gift pack.
Wave, tell me, can you slide for a real one?
Slide for me, slide for me.
Can you slide for a real one?
Can you slide for me, slide for me?
Can you slide for a real one? Can you slide for a real one? Baby say I make him nervous. Maybe cause I'm real on the surface. Maybe cause I'm 10 down where the turf is. Don't get lost in those facades on the guys, you know ain't nobody perfect. I just put the work in, I know what my worth is. I'm living lavish, I'm flossing, bossing a bag and up cash off the passion. Out here with my niggas, AV to the casket, we reckless, stay in your lane. I'm on gas till somebody cut the brakes. Cutting off these haters in the heads of the snakes. You're spinning the plan, but you catching on late. And she just sent the emoji, said she wetter than a lake, so I better not flake. Take a break, say word. Hit me when you through with that, then we can shift again, my schedule been clear. These niggas see me, they mad like I'm one of their peers. I put that on Sita, so I'm sure it's abundantly clear. I'm hella big on the said what I said. Eyes low off the legal and the red wig. Put the leg room and the roof gone. Man, I came a long way from them deals off the Groupon, right?
Big on the stairs, what they said part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chit chat. Fuck with the kid, know I got the gift paid. Big on the stairs, what they said part. So I skip straight ahead to the bread part. Top out, I'm cool on the chit chat. Fuck with the kid, know I got the gift paid.
Keep it real with you, I've been in the field in position. Yeah, yeah. I've been trail, you could tell by how I feel when you with me. Yeah. Tell me, can you slide for me? Can you slide for it once? Yeah. Tell me, can you slide for it once? Yeah.
So much better. Won't you let me stay forever? Light up in the sky, full of treasures.
Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Swerving, making plays, cool Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon Says. Yeah, I'm the running man.
Don't feel right. I still wanna party with her. Oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right. You know I'ma party with her. We been chillin' on the Wednesdays,
Slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my life every day of the week, yeah. When my baby wakes up, always down every weekend. No, love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks.
Doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.
Like it or not, y'all. 2023. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Yes, it's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Like It or Not. Rebecca Azor is in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture, or real life-ish. I live in life in the ATL. Benjamin, yeah, that's my man. He's always coming up with the master plan. Politics scheming, or trying to find the meaning of life. Or why the feds keeps us in strife. I'm your DJ. I really don't need no introduction right now, but you know what? I stay dropping them jams. Y'all know who I am. Good hope, dad jokes, culture-ish, politics. What you're hearing right now was the culmination of all of this. I started out with the mic in my hand, and I graduated to a plethora of fans. I love bringing joy to the people. It makes me feel great, makes me feel regal. I do what I do for you. 8 p.m. Friday, you know how we do. Let's go. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Yes, it's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azor. Let's start this damn show. Like it or not, y'all. 2023. Let's start this damn show. Let's go.
Like It or Not starts now.
Okay, there we go. There we go. I'm a little, all right, I think this will work. I feel like I have a little too much headroom. 1 second.
Up close and personal, folks.
All right. Did you see my mustache? Hope not. Good morning.
About a mustache. I mean, it's the mustache, Rebecca Azor.
Welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth
and not care who doesn't like it.
Yo, listen. Bubba isn't here today. He's not feeling well, so make sure you guys send your well wishes over to him. He's not feeling too well this morning, but we miss him.
Yes,
he's the third B.
Exclusive.
Yes, he's the third B that's missing on today, but we're just gonna have to do BB. All right, BB Noel. And
I thought you were gonna go with BBCC, but you know, I guess the L is
okay.
It's interesting.
BB Noel. We're not talking about Drizzy. So well, we could be BBD. Not Belle, Biv DeVoe, but Becca, Ben, and David.
There it is.
There we go. It all, you know, I was getting somewhere with it, and I got there. How are you on today, Mr. Benjamin Peterson?
I'm good, Rebecca. I'm as good as could be expected considering everything in this country, but I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. This country's crazy, but I'm all right, you know. Tired, exhausted. Rent about to roll around in 3 days.
It
Ain't
don't
that
it don't
crazy?
stop. Do it.
It don't stop. Every time you go to sleep, let me tell you something. Because when y'all, it's almost like you go to sleep and you got that 30 days. Because after you paid your bills, if God is good and you can pay your bills every month on time, you have that 30 days in the middle. Sometimes 28.
Yeah.
But you got that time in the middle. But then it's like, damn.
Here we go again.
You're spending the 30 days praying that nothing goes wrong, praying that nothing goes wrong, that you have to utilize your money in between that time. That's you're budgeted out for it to be. It's just crazy. But anyway, that's all I have to say. They done passed the rule finally here after they done took all our money all these years to make it not a necessity or requirement for when you're looking for an apartment in, I think, the state of Georgia, where the renter's office can't ask you for 3 times more than
Really?
Whatever that is, a 3 times
the monthly your income.
Because it didn't. First of all, it never made sense. But they were they really made that a thing right before the pandemic and really instilled it at that. Because it used to be 2 times the rent. It used to be 1 time, and then it used to be 2 times, and they made it 3 times the rent. When the rent is getting higher, it just never matched. So they just passed a law so that people can't do that here. But I'm pretty sure they're going to find a way to still make that a thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're raising the rent. So if, they're asking for $1,500 a month, everyone would have had to make $4,500 a month. And there's a lot of folks who don't make that. So now they're going to keep raising the rent to $2,000 a month. Say, okay, you just need $4,000. They're going to find a way to get the money out of this.
Guaranteed. They're gonna find a way to get the money out of it. But you know what we need to find a way to do? We need to find a way to make sure that we don't get Trump in office for a second time, because I know what you saw. You know what I saw. I know what the world's seen on Thursday evening when we saw those 2.
I saw your tweet about the geriatric ward.
It was giving, because that's what it was giving. It was a geriatric mess. However, even though I said that, I want you to know that I know that we have to make a choice either way.
Right.
I ain't messing with neither one of them. But if I had to choose and I knew that I had a fighting chance for a future, I'm going to go with somebody, even if that's a 1%, because with Donald Trump, you don't have any. That man made promises and will sit up in your face and lie and treat this country like it was a business deal. That's it. It's not about you. It's not about constituents. It's not about the people of America. It's not about Americans. It's not about any of that. It's about making certain people happy. So many things happened, and we're going to go down the list. I need to go grab my notebook. So many things happened on that evening. I had to go back over it. I had to go back over it, and I had to go back over it and watch it again. And I said no. I watched it originally. We did the live with Leftist Mafia,
right?
And we watched it for that 2 hours, and then I had to move on over to Mark Lamont Hill. And while watching it on Leftist Mafia, I was catching things. They were catching things. We was catching things in the moment. Black job, and I wasn't on the internet. I wasn't I was just tweeting out things, but I wasn't looking at what everybody else was saying. So as a Black person watching it, so I got to see, though, as somebody who's Black is watching it, it was different. It was different for a Black person watching this debate than it was for somebody else watching this debate. And I say that because the guys made great points during the conversations. I was grabbing onto these certain points, though. The conversation about Black jobs, the conversation about immigrants being the cause of inflation, and immigrants being the cause of, I believe, Black American death. The conversation of Blacks in America and what they both done to better Black people's lives. So which one? And then he named a law that Joe Biden was responsible for years and years ago, I believe 1969 or something like that. And something that affected Black people.
You told the 94 crime bill?
Okay, there it is, 94. Look, me taking it back to 1969. Okay, there we go. The 94 crime bill that affected Black Americans in 1994. And Joe Biden headed that. But then you go down, and I'm like, but I can't. Yes, that happened. But then it was like Central Park 5, now exonerated. But you don't think about that and then think about Charlottesville, right? I'm not saying one white was better than the other white. One white carried out anti-blackness. One white carried out anti-blackness throughout his life. That was his life's goal. But I thought about it in that aspect, and I'm saying, do we want to bring this man who, as soon as he hit office, was responsible for what happened in Charlottesville, was pushing out, since Donald Trump was in office, so many more mass murders across this country, so many more targeted mass murders, targeted Black people, minority groups, conversations surrounding immigrants or people who are not white Americans, COVID, Chinese people were getting beat up in the streets because it was a China flu, right? Remember that? Migrants are responsible for January 6th. If it's based off of this debate, that's what you would have thought. That's what you would have thought. But we're going to go down the list. But I'm just saying, viewing it in that way and viewing our lives. And this man, on the day that he came here, couldn't even show up to the barbershop that in Atlanta. Couldn't even show up to that barbershop in Atlanta where them Black folks were sitting at a round table at the barbershop. And he, if you can even, I'm sorry for putting you on the spot, David, but I need you to grab that clip because I need you to see what
McDonald's
this is the city that y'all, this is the same city that Governor Kemp literally has been attacking Black folks for. This is the city that's responsible, right, for the mugshot, for him being held accountable for what he did here during the elections, what he did to those poll workers. Remember this? Y'all forgetting, but this is the same city, and they done had a barbershop, Trojan barbershop, Black barbershop, had a man in overalls to represent the working farming Black. They had the two men in suits, right? You know how it is when you get to Atlanta. I ain't got to say much about that. And then you had the two extras on the side, the everyday Black man. One was the owner, I believe, of the barbershop, and the other one. And they sat there. Donald Trump said, I can't come in that establishment. Oh, hell no. That man called in. He's in the city now. Called in and gave them, this is a cute picture, by the way, called them and said to them people, they say I have the best mugshot. They're saying it's better than, what's his name? Elvis Presley, I hear. And, my felony record, this is how he's appealing to Black folks. And this is the same man that while he was in office, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all of these people were murdered because he pushed policing over Black people. Yet they sit around here in Atlanta. And there was a few Atlanta cases as well, because Donald Trump kept pushing the power of police, the abuse of power of police, especially towards Black people. Okay. But we're going to talk about that. We're going to go into that. I'm sorry I went into a soliloquy, but we're going to go into that. Let's start off. We're going to start this. We have debate clips. Thanks to our producer. But I just want y'all to know where this debate was happening. It was happening right here in my backyard, Atlanta, Georgia, where they call it the Black Mecca. Let's take a listen. Let's take a listen of this encounter with the Blacks, the Blacks in Atlanta, and Donald Trump.
Okay. So we start with the barbershop, right?
Yes, we are. Let's take a listen.
But since this has happened, like the mugshot is the best. It just beat Elvis Presley and Frank Sinatra by a lot, by the way. Beat him by a lot. But that's the number one mugshot of all time. It's really an amazing thing. Since it happened, the support among the Black community and the Hispanic community has skyrocketed. It's been amazing. Really been amazing. It's been actually very nice to see.
Mr. President,
it's in one way, the truth is, it's really a lovely thing when I see that. We have great support now in the Black community and in the Hispanic community.
Hmm.
Mm.
And there to facilitate it, you have Wesley Hunt, the bald-headed brother with no neck. I guess we could be related. Then you have Byron Donalds in the middle with the red tie, and then you have Ben Carson on the right. Right, three henchmen for Blacks for Trump, as they sit there and let Donald Trump, and they participate in this now, make it seem like the thing that Black folks care about and that we're turned on by, and that's going to motivate us. And he threw Hispanics in there, is the mugshot. Right? They have run with this narrative, and it's one thing to see like white folks from MAGA do it because we expect that, but then to see Black folks from MAGA embrace it and then take it to the barbershop like this is really the thing. This is really Black culture. Really tells you the caliber of Black men that these three dudes are not.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they threw in there like a preacher to give that effect, but neither here or there. Even when the Black man tried to speak, this white man, first of all, the Black barbershop, Ben, you can attest to this, the Black barbershop is like a sanctuary for Black men to talk about so many things, including politics. And whether they agree or disagree, it's all about the bettering of the Black community.
Right.
I've sat in the Black barbershop. I know that that's the conversations that surround it. The end goal for everyone is they want for Black people in America to have better lives. And they usually surrounded by the conversation of Black men. So, Ben, hearing this and seeing this, especially the guy with the red tie, what's his name? Didn't we just talk about him?
Byron Donalds.
Yeah. We just talked about him the other day. Actually, we did a whole special on his behind and his comments about Jim Crow.
That's right.
The Jim Crow era and how it may have benefited him. Trash, garbage. But this is the representation that we have here. But Ben, when you hear that and you see that all these Black men sitting there, and what comes to mind when you hear Donald Trump, the white man, facilitating a conversation in such a space that usually, this is why we don't invite everybody into these spaces, and this is where it gets problematic. What did you see there as a Black man? And I know for yourself, it's like a woman going to the nail salon and the hair salon. For a Black man, seeing that space be infiltrated that way? Yeah.
I mean, notwithstanding the fact that I don't have the occasion to go to the barbershop that much.
Then they can still get you up in here. Okay, what are you?
Yeah, I do need to let them come and tackle this a little bit. I'll be honest with you. They do freshen up the beard real nicely. It shows that they. Okay, Rebecca. So there's two parts of this. There is just your standard Black person we've always had Judases in our camp, right? There were people on the other side of the slave trade that were Black that were facilitating Black people being sold into slavery on the west coast of Africa. Just going to always be the case. And so you got to take that into account, that not all skin folk are kinfolk. They know the power of the imagery of the barbershop, but they have no clue whatsoever about how to even be comfortable in the barbershop. Like, that's what I see in this video. I see Wesley Hunt, who, when you listen to other clips, he's commenting on how well-spoken some of the brothers are in the barbershop. Strike one, man. Like, number one, we could talk however we want to talk anywhere, but particularly in the barbershop, we communicate how we want to communicate. Number two, I'm trying to avoid and we could talk about this later, without going into the diaspora wars. Byron Donalds saying that he's Jamaican American and then coming out against reparations, like that sent a red flag to me. But even more so, there's so many Black MAGA folks who aren't a part of the Black American experience, who are peddling this narrative. Right. And so we could talk about it because that's a whole different conversation. Yeah. What I see in here. And so I also see Black folks who will gladly sell off chunks of the Black community, like that Black preacher who let Trump into his pulpit or onto his platform a few weeks ago and let Trump forward the same narrative. And so, yeah, like, I've been in the barbershop, and I've been in the barbershop with every type of Black man. It doesn't matter. It could be a black man, a Hotep. It could be a black Muslims, a Nation of Islam. It could be everybody's politics in the barbershop are uniquely different, but we all, one, care about the black community, two, understand the game that white folks been playing with us. And now you got these three, Coon Supremes, Wesley Hunt, Byron Donalds, and Ben Carson saying, hey, let's facilitate taking the black community piece by piece and selling it off to white folks who don't mean nothing good by the black community. One last thing before I throw it back to you. Joe Biden's history with the black community is a problem. But it's not a problem that we don't know about and that we've already talked about and we've already calculated for and understand. 94 crime bill. He helped bring us Clarence Thomas and all those things. We got that, right? I also know what's happening right now today is a former president who's literally trying to do harm to the black community compared to the sitting president, Joe Biden, who was the first president to actually call out white supremacy from his acceptance speech to the inauguration to throughout his presidency. He has actively called out white supremacy, whereas we got Donald Trump, who's being elevated by white supremacy. And here we have three black men, really the only three black men they could find, right? Elected officials who would go out here and peddle the black community and say, hey, let's bring Trump into our sacred places. Let's bring Trump into our pulpits. Let's bring Trump into our barbershops because it's going to give the appearance. This is the last thing, Rebecca. They think black folks are stupid. They think black folks are going to say, oh, here's a mugshot. That's my guy. Here's Trump, black folks in the barbershop. Oh, he's one of us. Here's Donald Trump, being peddled by a black preacher. Oh, we love him now. They really think, oh, same thing with the golden shoes. Oh, he made some shoes for black folks. Oh, he's our guy now. And it's one thing to get that from white folks, especially MAGA white folks, but it's another thing to get three little ugly henchmen, black folks, doing it on behalf of white folks. And I think they really feel like they're doing something, but black folks peep them from a mile away, which is why 2 out of 3 of those black men don't even have a black woman in their life. I'm just going there.
Or they don't acknowledge the black women in their lives. And here's the thing. You got to look at those people and we have to disassociate. There's no way. Candace Owens, all those type of people, this Brian McDonald's, whatever his name is, the Clarences of the world, they're problematic. But in this fight right here, I was speaking with Antoinette on Olay's show, Olay and Friends, and she wrote me yesterday and she was saying to me, she was like, hey, we're failing the group project as black people right now. And it sucks because we know we're going to have to pick up the slack. On the group project, when we done did all the work and we get to class and these niggas, sorry, but be the ones behind us and they're getting the A grade too. Because what they don't understand is that they're throwaway. They're throwaway blacks. I hate to say it, but when you cape for whiteness and white supremacy and you're the problematic, you the master, I think I saw a slave right there behind it. You're that black, right? Everything that the black that ran away to get free generationally to get us to where we are here right now sitting and able to have this conversation with y'all, it also benefited the children that man had. That was, oh, master, I think I see a slave right there. Everything that the ancestor that decided to rebel and go against the safe way did is saving that person's children and bloodline. Because this is the thing, you being black and you caping for white people, it ain't gonna save you. Because them the kids that you may have, even the little blended and mixed ones, you see how they treat them too. What they still got that little 1-drop rule or whatever the case may be. Stop caping for blackness. Donald Trump doesn't care about you. If he's throwing in your face these he's at the bar. He's not even at the barbershop.
Yeah, he can't even come.
At least he was scared to pull up to y'all neighborhood, to that barbershop, to be around y'all blackness. He didn't want it. He didn't want it. He was scared to be around your coonery, and that's what's accepted in Donald Trump's camp. Let me tell you something. Even when Joe Biden pulled up to Waffle House. Knowing he ain't like that damn food. Even though that's just like, do I really like that he did that? Who cares? He still showed up. He still showed up. And I say this again, we're failing the group as Antoinette said, we're failing the group project. I really hate for us to focus on the fact that, yes, and I said this, we've talked about this, and we're going to go over some clips and we'll go into I said this, there is an age thing, right? We know that there is slowness, right? We know that he's not cognizant of, he can't fill out a word. He's short of breath. We all noticed that together collectively, but we also noticed that the other man, Donald Trump, could not tell a lie if he was holding it upside down, if he had a gun to his head, if somebody was threatening, if there was a gun he just kept telling the lie. He couldn't tell the truth, is what I'm saying. Even if somebody held a gun to Melania's head, Ivanka's head, the little baby that we ain't never seen's head, the little boy, I don't know, we ain't seen him since. He wouldn't care because he would continue to lie as it benefited him. Do you want that to be your leader? He made promises with other people that he always shows up for, right? He lies to he hired people and then put their business out after. He don't care about nobody, yet people that he does money business with, it ain't you. He takes from you. During his presidency, he gave y'all more money in like a 5-year plan just so that after it was done, in which we're feeling the effects now, so that he can take it back another way. We owe that back. And y'all sitting around here saying that's why y'all want to vote for Trump. He didn't free none of your people. He freed celebrities. None of your people were freed. They would never be free if it was for Donald Trump. But we do know that most recently, Joe Biden, I got a lot of frustration with Joe Biden, but we do know that Joe Biden most recently made sure that those military men who were gay and were reprimanded for it, were shamed for it, were considered, I believe, felons for it, did jail time for it. Back in the day, he made sure he cleared their records. So, we got to choose, y'all. Somebody's like, well, maybe we can start looking at the green. It's too late. It's too late. Gavin Newsom, he been on that. And now you want to start, maybe, it's too late.
It's July. It is July.
It is July. We got August, September, October, November. That's 4 months. And y'all sitting around here talking about maybe, I know we said Dr. Cornel West. No. We got Joe Biden and we have Donald Trump. Okay? And we'll discuss further. We have a lot of clips. There's so much, Ben. And before we get to the clips, quickly, what were you expecting from this debate?
I wasn't expected to come away with such existential dread, like the end of America, the end of democracy. I wasn't expecting to come away feeling like, oh my God, somebody take Joe Biden off stage. I didn't expect to feel like that afterwards. I honestly expected him to be sharp because he surprised me in the past. I remember when he debated and it was a final debate, and I think it was just he and Bernie Sanders. He showed up sharp. He was waxing the floor with certain exchanges, even with my boy Bernie. So I was like, okay, if Joe Biden can't do anything, he can debate. Now, in the first 30 seconds of his first answer, I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a long night. It was a very long and painful night. And maybe I shouldn't have done it. I did an episode of my show the next morning right afterwards. Maybe I should have waited a few hours because it was as bad as I felt on my episode. But the way the news cycle works, it's already flushed out of the system, to be honest with you. Like the outrage and the shock and the alley-oop points that MAGA is getting from how bad Biden did, it's kind of like already fizzling out. And Joe Biden came after the fact and did his performance. Where is he? In North Carolina, I think. And he was really good the next day. So I was not expecting it to go as bad as it did. Here's the other thing I didn't expect. I didn't expect CNN to just lay there and accept all the lies. All the lies. Like, I understand. I really was following Olay on this, and she was saying it's incumbent upon the opponent to defend or to defeat the lies. But at a certain point, the level of scale of lies was so big that you can't call yourself a journalist and sit there and just, facilitate the lies. No. Because what happened by the end of the night was that a whole list of Donald Trump's regular lies went completely unchecked. And because Trump said it with so much confidence, it began hardening in the minds of Americans. So there's a whole list of lies that are out there now that millions of people saw that nobody challenged. And Joe Biden wasn't there. He wasn't there enough to challenge it in real time. But now we have a whole set of lies that are just hardened in the thinking of Americans. So I didn't expect that to happen.
No, there's so much. We're going to go into his conversation where he missed the mark, missed opportunities, abortion. Okay. When he talked about immigration, when they talked about a missed opportunity right here, a literal layup, terrorist attacks. Donald Trump sat in our face and said under his leadership, there was never a terrorist attack, when that in fact is not true. There was a terrorist attack. When he was president, we came these are things that CNN could have done. The people that were sitting there were doing their desk job at CNN, and that's just reading the prompter. I felt like that energy. Let me just get these off. Sound bites will come from our on the street reporters. Good to go. Next up, A block, B block, C block, D block. It never gave any type of hold this man accountable.
Right.
Every person, or that woman specifically, I always remember her. And I can't remember, what's her name?
Is it Dana Bash?
Yeah, I was gonna say Dana. I want to get her.
Dana
yeah.
Dana or something.
Yeah, right. Now that was where we had stability. That was when we had some kind of moderation that moderated. Because what we had was more so, as soon as Joe Biden would finish, they'll be like, all right. And then they'll be like, Trump would answer the question and they'll be like, okay, Trump, so what? And then they called him President Trump. And I'm like, why are they calling him president? They said that's what they do. But then they started regarding him as former President Trump. So pick one and stick there. We see what you're doing, CNN. I see where your heart is. But at the same time, after Donald Trump would just blatantly lie, they would give him another opportunity to say the lie in a different way. They would be like, all right, so we asked this. So maybe if I ask it like this, what do you say? They gave him an opportunity to lie in a different way. Right. And so all right. Enough talking. Let's get to watching. Let's take a look at this first clip, which I don't know what it's going to be, but I know it's going to be enough for us to talk about. Yeah.
President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since you took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries that cost $100 then now costs more than $120. And typical home prices have jumped more than 30%. What do you say to voters who feel they are worse off under your presidency than they were under President Trump?
We got to take a look at what I was left when I became president, what Mr. Trump left me. We had an economy that was in free fall. The pandemic was so badly handled. Many people were dying. All he said was, it's not that serious. Just inject a little bleach in your arm. You'll be all right. The economy collapsed. There were no jobs. Unemployment rate rose to 15%. It was terrible. And so what we had to do was try to put things back together again. And that's exactly what we began to do. We created 15,000 new jobs. We brought out a position where we have 800,000 new manufacturing jobs. But there's more to be done. There's more to be done. Working class people are still in trouble. I come from Scranton, Pennsylvania. I come from a household where the kitchen table, if the things weren't able to be met during the month, it was a problem. Price of eggs, the price of gas, the price of housing, the price of a whole range of things. That's why I'm working so hard to make sure I deal with those problems. And we're going to make sure that we reduce the price of housing. We're going to make sure we build 2 million new units. We're going to make sure we cap rents so corporate greed can't take over. The combination What I was left with in corporate greed is the reason why we're in this problem right now. In addition to that, we're in a situation where if you take a look at all that was done in his administration, he didn't do much at all. By the time he left, things were in chaos, literally chaos. And so we put things back together. We created.
You know what, Becca, on this one, he's not going to. This is the difference. And David, you can keep them up at all times because I want folks to really realize who we're talking about every time we say something. The main difference between the two parties, let me say what's not different. What's not different between the two parties is that they're not going to identify the truth about the inflation that we just came out of. The inflation that we're trying to get out of was based on corporate profits, period, right? The cost did not go up for these corporations. The cost to make a hamburger did not go up for McDonald's. They just charged us more. And once they saw that they could get away with it, they doubled down, tripled down. And everywhere around the world, corporations, I call it the big squeeze. It's same thing with rent. Rents went up, not because the cost of renting went higher. No, it just went up because they saw they could get away with it. Neither party is going to identify that. However, the only difference here is that Donald Trump wants to lean into it more with more tax breaks, with more deregulation, with more things that are going to make a bad situation already worse. It's kind of sad that our choices in America really are between bad and apocalyptically worse. Yes. That's our choices.
Yep. And with those being our choices, we went through this is the thing, guys. We already did the whole better. What is it? What were they saying back when it was Trump and Hillary Clinton? It was the better of two evils.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now I feel like here we are in another moment like this. But y'all, because I don't like Hillary Clinton historically. First of all, I'm Haitian, so I'm allergic to the Clintons. Right. Specifically Hillary. I'm Haitian. Let's not forget it. But beyond that, we know that we're in a situation where Joe Biden clearly has sided with Israel on the Palestine, genocide. We know this, right? Yeah. But we also know Donald Trump sat up there and told you face on, like verbally, he looked at Joe Biden and he said, "You're a Palestinian."
Right.
So making Palestinian a negative word, a slur. So he's telling you right now, you with the ops. When Joe Biden is somebody who provided the ops, who's Israel, but is actually America's ally, provided them with the tools necessary to continue to obliterate people over there in Gaza. Yes. But this man this is what I say, I'm gonna need you to focus on. But Donald Trump leveled up and looked over and said, "You're a Palestinian," to let you know I clearly saying it to you out loud. I ain't talking about a ceasefire or humanitarian pause. I ain't talking about a place where I'm going to give them food. I ain't talking about nan one of that. I'm telling you right now, I don't mess with nan one Palestinian. I'm about Israel. I will stay about Israel. When we talk about anything about this whole Gaza and Israel thing, we will only talk about hostages, and we will continue to make sure to identify that anything is almost white adjacent would be better than anything that has any kind of melanin. A group of people that are marginalized, that we already put less than, I will never give them any acknowledgement. And their genocide is something that I will stand by, and probably in my presidency, I will continue to make sure that the job is done. Y'all.
And whoo. Rebecca, I see why Mark Lamont Hill keeps inviting you on. That's the perfect example. Joe Biden stood by Benjamin Netanyahu through all those months of genocide. And whereas most of us on the left are like, Genocide Joe, we're going to have a real problem voting for you in November. Here comes Donald Trump to one-up it, to say it's not enough for us to fund and supply weapons to Benjamin Netanyahu to commit his genocide. We're going to
he's going to find a way to make it worse. And I'm sitting here wondering, like, we got genocide, but now we have Donald Trump who's trying to one up it. What the hell is he going to do when he gets in office to make this even worse for the Palestinians? I'm not quite sure how much worse you can get than genocide, except total annihilation.
Yes.
Right. And that's what he's gearing up for. He didn't just say the Palestinian thing once. He said it twice. He said it 3 times within 24 hours, using the word Palestinian as a slur. And I'm sitting back wondering, like, now we done already killed 20,000 children with our taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
What the hell is he going for? A flawless victory? What do you want, Donald Trump?
Okay.
And so folks got to realize we are dealing with bad. I mean, and I don't mean bad like in a small thing. Like when we talk about Gaza, I'm talking about evil. I'm talking about what America did, what Joe Biden signed off on, what Anthony Blinken signed off on, with what Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin signed off on and went and stood by them. And all these, who was that? Hakeem Jeffries, he went and stood by Yoav Gallant. All of these sick, twisted photo ops. And Donald Trump is saying to us, I want to make it worse. Because I want the American people to think of Palestinians as a slur.
Yep. And exactly. Love it. I want you guys to actually hear. We're talking about it, but for the ones who didn't watch it, I want you guys to actually hear and see. And then the moderator, Ben, you gave a specific number, 20,000, over 20,000. And we're talking about deaths in Palestine.
Of children.
Of children. And so listen to me and how my pastor be saying, hear me good. Hear me. The moderators are at fault too. The moderators from CNN are at fault too, because they play into the thousands of people. Thousands of people, lady, drop the number so they understand how this is genocide happening. And because of this genocide of children, mostly children, what are your plans? I need that. Like, let's step it up. Let's be for real. Anywho, take a listen at this exchange. Also, this is a subject that a lot of eyes and ears were on, specifically because we know how Joe Biden has handled it. Now, they wanted to know how Trump would have the conversation about it. We let you guys know how we heard it and how we saw it, but y'all take a listen and let us know in the chat how you feel about it.
Israel and Hamas. Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one. Israel and Hamas. Israel's the one that wants to go. He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job. He doesn't want to do it. He's become like a Palestinian, but they don't like him because he's a very bad Palestinian. He's a weak one.
Yeah. So go ahead, man. Go ahead. And that's just Trump's comments on that.
That's just Trump in 1 hour. In the next 24 hours, he called Chuck Schumer a Palestinian and said, oh, Chuck Schumer, I know he's a Jew, but he's acting like a Palestinian. And then he went and he did that on a news interview. Then he went to his rally and he said, oh, they're acting like Palestinians. And the thing for me is like, what is this man's plans? Like, how can he actually make it worse? I don't know what he wants to get enough power to do to the rest of the Palestinians, but he's making it clear that he wants to distinguish himself from the brutality and the murder of Genocide Joe. I'm just going to say it like it is. Genocide Joe. Like, I'm going to commit a sin in November by voting for Genocide Joe, because I know that Donald Trump wants to come back and annihilate the Palestinians at this point. What else can you get besides what Joe Biden already did?
Nothing, right? Here's the thing. I want you guys to understand that, again, this was a very all eyes on Joe Biden, all eyes on Donald Trump, Israel, Palestine, more than what the hell going on over here in America, because we done dug our noses into this business, not to help them, but to continue to hurt. And when I say them, I'm talking about Palestine, talking about Gaza, talking about Palestinians. I'm talking about them babies. I'm talking about the people that they said didn't deserve a ceasefire, but a humanitarian pause to run to another.
Folks who are still underneath the rubble. Quite honestly, they're
right there
under the rubble for 8 months because of our weapons. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. Because I thought you were glitching. I'm like, is he? Oh my goodness, is he on mute? Because he got a lot. No, right, like rightly so. People who are still under rubble. Our president couldn't say a ceasefire because of the allyship to Israel, and couldn't say ceasefire. So they offered up a humanitarian pause, y'all, 4 hours in the day that they get to run to the next place for coverage, for safety. Absolutely not. So I say that to say, this is why this part is so important. But they spent less time having a conversation about that and moved over it so quickly to go talk about whose balls are bigger. Excuse my French and English, but that's what it was giving. 2 men in a nursing home coming out of their rooms, upset with each other. But this is our future. That's why whether or not I'm siding, that I like Biden or not, but let the record reflect. After reflection and waking up the next morning after that debate, let the record reflect. Rebecca is voting for Joe Biden. Period. Y'all know I don't want that. But I looked over at Trump and I woke up and I had to reflect. And we are being tested right now because y'all don't open the door at the cookout. It's problematic. It's infiltrated. We need to gather somewhere else.
Yes.
And we need to come together to understand that if we do not do the right thing come November, all of those promises that were made by Donald Trump
they gonna
that go against you, your future kids, future, your finances, your fear, because there was a lot of fear mongering happening against. I am a product of immigrants. The fear mongering, and we're gonna get to that too on conversations because we got to get to abortion too. But it's so much. But the fear mongering that he gave when it came to immigrants. Oh, you gotta think about this right here. They said January 6th, he said, but immigrants.
Right.
They said inflation, he said immigrants. They said Black American issues, he said immigrants. We're going back to build that wall. It's 2024.
Oh, no, they're upping it, Rebecca. They're not going to just build a wall. They have active plans to deport 20 million illegal immigrants by deputizing a bunch of white maggots, right? Make America Great Again, who are getting deputized by local sheriffs. They are planning to go door to door and deport 20 million people that they're going to identify and say, oh, you're an immigrant, you're an immigrant, you're an immigrant. And they want to toss them all. This is going to be a bloody, and it's going to be a massacre. And that's what they are actively wanting. And this is why they did exactly what you said. They would fearmonger. They fearmonger around immigrants every day, all day. And Donald Trump is just the figurehead who's going to say, okay, I don't care about immigrants anyway. Go and get rid of all of them. And that's their plan. That's part of 2025 to 2025.
Yeah. The little Project 2025 they got going on. We have to make sure that it never comes to fruition, not by leadership of America. Let them do it from the backwoods. Let them go do it, what they're trying to do. But we have to make sure that we are going to save ourselves if we have a fighting chance. Y'all want to continue to start rolling back more things? They rolled back so many things that benefited Black folks, marginalized communities, things that we fought for, women, so many things. LGBTQIA plus is just now getting their fighting chance. And y'all want this man to come on. Let's be for real. Only the rich people are talking about flipping and stuff because they make money from it. You and your conversation about him giving, people are rolling back. I was talking to my brother the other day. Somebody was like, I got a lot of money under Donald Trump when Donald Trump was president. He looked at that. He said, we're effed. He looked at that debate. He said, no. Because the man couldn't tell the truth at all. And He had promises made, and he will rather make sure that once he gets into office, he does everything for those people he promised. It ain't none of us, not even those white folks in the backwoods riding their F-150s, no teeth, no insurance, because they can't afford it. All of y'all that stay at the bridge in Palm Beach every day saying that Trump won the election till this day, 4 years later. All of y'all who ain't got nothing to do with your lives. January 6th. Come on, let's be for real. This man sat up there and said, he said he had nothing to do with that day. Nothing to do with that day. It was a whole day in his honor, in his name, to the point where he was actually whistleblowing on every damn channel that he went on before the events. Anyways, let's drop me something else. Because we got a lot to talk about.
Like it or not.
I was talking to you, David. Drop another clip. It don't got to be in order.
Okay, I see what he's saying. Okay.
These killers are coming into our country.
This is going to be the one about immigrants. Let's take a
Young
listen.
women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. There have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women.
He wanted to say white women because that's that's what they're really pushing at this point. They're taking every single case they can in a nation of 350 million people. You are going to have with immigrants or without immigrants. You are going to have violence. You're going to have murders, especially in this American system. What they're doing every day, all day, and this is what Donald Trump is talking to, and this is the crowd he's speaking to. Every day, all day, they find every local story of an immigrant who ever did anything wrong. No, it doesn't matter how big, how small, all the way up to murder, right? They have some immigrants who have come across the border who have committed acts of murder. Okay, horrible. They want to take those examples of whatever percentage that is, less than probably 1% of the immigrants that come across the border, and they want to use that as a justification to deport 20 million immigrants. They will always take the worst example of any community. They do the same thing with black folks all day long across social media. All they do is they take the very worst stories they can find from a local. They'll go to Wichita, Kansas, and they'll find a black person who did something wrong, and they will elevate it across the entire nation and say, look, see, we have a black problem. The same folks who are telling you that we need to do something about the immigrant problem are literally the same crackerjacks who are saying we got to do something about the black problem. And they're taking all these individual cases and saying this is a holistic problem. And so we got to get rid of 20 million immigrants. And what do you think they're going to do next? Once they've done that, oh, their bloodlust is going to be so high, they're going to come right next and try to do something about all the black problem.
Okay. And then here goes the conversations about the immigrants and how they listen, because immigrants, like you said, Ben, they want to tie all of this stuff together. The marginalized issues. Migrants are the issue. Migrants are the issue for black people dying. Yeah. When he said that, because I wrote that down right here. When he said on Thursday night that immigrants are the issue for black, well, because I wrote it right here, inflation and black issues, deaths. I said Joe Biden missed that opportunity to say, well, under your leadership, policing, amplifying, police abusing their power led to a lot more black deaths. Black targeting led to your amplification and gun radicalizing led
Angry white
to
boys.
so many white people going out and targeting black folks. Your criminalization of the word woke
Come on.
made so many white networks like Fox adopt it and use it against us, when that is something that we used to say as, hey, we know, we see. Okay? And here we are with Donald Trump blaming everything he could on migrants,
Yes.
immigrants taking black jobs, forcing the diaspora wars, another level rising. And he's speaking to those people who are going to say he's right about it. He's right about it. And he's right about it. That's the FBA, the Foundation of Black Americans. That's the ADOS crew.
Leave my ADOS people alone.
That's the, you know, love everybody, mean it. But when he wants that
division,
it's okay for us to individualize ourselves. We know that. And it's okay for us to understand that here in America, we're all the same. It's actually okay to understand that there was we were all come from the same place. It was just another boat stop. I happen to be here because my parents migrated here. Okay. So from Haiti, and their ancestors were brought there the same way the people's ancestors were brought here. So at the end of the day, this division, this conversation, yes, I'm proud when it comes to the conversation about Haitian first, always. Haitian blood through and through. And what he did in that conversation was target. He knew when he said that who was going to speak to. Okay? When he talked about having the best mugshot ever, he knows the community that he's speaking to. He ain't showing up to, but he's speaking to. And this is where it becomes problematic. Migrants aren't taking black jobs. Migrants right now, we calling them T-Bidens, because the Haitians that came on the Biden program, the Haitians before that, we called them TPS. The Haitians that came on TPS, like, you know, we had a little names for them. But the T-Bidens, the Lil Bidens in English, how you say it in English, the Lil Bidens, okay, the people that are the migrants that are coming off of on the program, all of them that I know, especially on Okeechobee Boulevard in West Palm Beach, Florida, where the school is across the street, where they're learning a trade. They're going across the street, then they're going into the plaza. I think it's called Pine Trail Plaza. They're going into that plaza to go work those jobs that nobody wants to work.
That's right.
And they're working those jobs for less than the minimum.
Come on.
After going to school and then going to housing that's pretty much cramped to try to make it to the next day. They are okay with this lifestyle because it's better than what they just came from. Not saying that Haiti is a terrible country. Right now, we got a lot going on. And for them to have a fighting chance, they were given, hey, you only got this amount of time. And they are taking advantage of it. So what jobs are they taking? These are open jobs. The only ones that they can get without education, without the language.
Without paperwork, right?
Without paperwork.
Rebecca, let's be sure now. The reason they can come here and get jobs is because there are rich people who own these businesses who look for people who can't be here legally, who don't have papers. They look for illegal immigrants so that they can pay them less than the minimum wage, because if they're here legally, then they'll be able to work for a minimum wage. And so it's all one big hustle. The very people who are now saying, oh, immigrants are all the problems, are the same people who are hiring them to take jobs that nobody else in this country wants to take, and nobody else in this country can take, because we can barely live on that.
No.
Right. And so right, the way they live on it's because they live communally. They live like 10 people in one house, you know, and there's a lot of smartness to that. We should get away from this American individualism, but that's a whole different conversation. I digress. They do this because they can get away with it and they can pay them pennies a day.
Yep. And here's the thing. They get away with it. They do get away with it. But the migrants are like, a guy was just telling his story on the Tick and Talks. He was like, li gen 1 an depuis le vide la sou program Biden. It's been a year since he came on the Biden program. He's a truck driver, and he was talking about his experience. He was talking about his struggles, but he's like, I don't care what it took. They told me I needed to do this, and I did it. But here goes Donald Trump trying to make it seem like they're coming here and a one-off of a migrant person doing something is the whole story for all of the ones that aren't doing that, and causing a division, causing this spooky, non-existing monster out of these people to make us believe that this is why the wall should be built, to do an extreme border control while he tried to talk to Joe Biden. We need more clips with Joe Biden, by the way. But while he tried to talk to down on Joe Biden for Joe Biden's border control. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is responsible for, if y'all don't recall, at the Texas border, them little people on them horses at the Texas border whipping Haitians.
Was that Trump? Or I thought I was under Biden.
Who was? Look, it was 2020. It
was
2020. It was 2021. I feel like it was.
It was all of them are horrible.
It was under Biden. Look, it was under Biden. They're all horrible, but we got to pick one. It was under Biden. Under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump, it was the but he did under Donald Trump, he did the Title 42 to make sure, and Joe Biden definitely used that to his advantage as well for the migrants as well. They both ain't no good, but we got to pick somebody. That's where we're getting to. Hey, so we're gonna take a break really quickly.
Yes.
But before we take a break, we're gonna play this one clip and we'll be back to discuss it. But go ahead and throw that clip up there. I think it's about the abortions.
As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet, but you're going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you, President.
As sure as you're sitting there, the fact is that his big kill on the black people is the millions of people that he's allowed to come in through the border. They're taking black jobs now, and it could be 18, it could be 19, and even 20 million people. They're taking black jobs and they're taking Hispanic jobs, and you haven't seen it yet.
All right. I thought we were gonna go on abortions, but I got something else to say. Black jobs, Hispanic jobs. What the hell are those? What's a black job? Let me tell you something. Look, because I always gotta say, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, because I got a few things to say. A black job, when we think about it, he said migrants are taking black jobs. Migrants are black. Migrants are Hispanic. Okay? I don't know what, so what are we talking about? Black migrants are coming to take jobs that are available, that are paying them. Hispanic migrants, who can be black too, because Donald Trump is dumb, are coming to get jobs that will pay them, jobs that they specialize in, jobs that they can get money for without being documented. They're just doing jobs that are available to them so that they can feed their families, make a better life, give their kids an opportunity to at least get an education. Come on. But what does he deem black jobs? Are these migrants not good enough to take white jobs? Are you saying that you acknowledge that black people and Hispanic people, Afro-Latinas or Hispanic people get jobs on the lower tier? Is that what you're saying that you can acknowledge? Is that what you're comparing it to? Because what the hell is a black job? What I do love about black folks, though, we took it right to social media, and collectively we heard it together. Collectively, we heard it together.
I know I'm not the voice you want to hear on this.
Not you cutting me off in your whiteness. See, this is what
I want. Have you seen Marco Rubio try to defend Trump on this subject?
No.
He was asked what a black job is, and if Just listen to this, and then I'm gonna let Ben take over on the producing.
Because not the white man.
I know,
Sorry,
but I
go
know,
ahead,
but
finish.
you got to hear this.
No, you're.
So you seem to be implying that. Can you clarify that? And then I want to ask you specifically, Donald Trump said when it comes to the U.S. border, they're taking black jobs. He was talking about migrants taking black jobs. What is a black job?
Okay. Well, a couple things. First of all, you know what he meant by that, okay? He meant jobs
I don't
that are
like
filled
us
by
saying
African
black.
Americans in America and others, Americans in general, but the question in specific was about black voters. He didn't ask that question, the moderators did. And so he segued into the impact that it's had on black voters. And that is very simple. When you flood a country with millions of people, you're gonna have more competition for work. You are, and those workers are willing to do it at a lower wage. And that you see that in some of the fields like construction and trades. It impacts Hispanic communities as well. On your first question, look, the United States didn't invade Iraq.
I'm sorry.
Ukraine. The United States didn't come across. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish.
No. You were going to ask me something.
I wanted to clarify on what you were just saying about black jobs. You seem to be saying these are low wage jobs.
No, they're not low-wage jobs. These are working class
That's
jobs.
exactly what I said.
Migrants taking low-wage jobs, and that he
African
was
American
talking about
workers.
black voters.
No, what I said is that migrants are willing to come in and do it at a lower wage. They are, because they are willing to take work at a lower wage
Yo,
than
Daddy.
an American would, and as a result, they get hired and not the American.
Yo, mama.
And that is something that people have talked about
Yo,
for a long time. I
grandpappy.
didn't make that up. I'm not.
All of your others in your family before your ass, they were willing to take those jobs. They were cutting grass. They was what that girl said, cleaning toilets. They was doing all. They was maids. They was all of that. Let me tell you something, because I gotta tell some. I gotta get that out of my vocabulary. Let me tell you something. My ex was saying, you keep saying, let me tell you something, but I'm gonna say something because I got something to say. Listen. That's exactly what that's the point that I was making. Thank you, David. That's the point that I was making, that the fact that Donald Trump regarded those jobs as black jobs and Hispanic jobs, we're smart enough to know what he meant by that. We're smart enough to know that he was talking about low wage jobs, jobs that the white wouldn't take at all. And he wanted to voice it and say immigrants are taking y'all jobs, not ours, not us whites, but y'all jobs. So get mad and get angry with them.
That's right.
And us putting up the border is going to help you with those low wage jobs. We are already fighting every day as minorities, as marginalized people in this country. We're fighting every day for the ones whose ancestors built this country are fighting every day to come out of low wage. The systemic way that they got families staying low wage, people staying low wage, and especially because of your gender, low wage, how you identify, low wage. They don't care. We're fighting for that right now. And here he is trying to create this diaspora wars. But the real thing the loud part, because that quiet part was really loud. White people are not affected by this because migrants could never have our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They could never step in our place and have our jobs.
Facts. And and here's the thing, like, okay, so I'm ADOS. I'm American descendant of enslaved people. That's why I rock with ADOS, but I also have a problem with them. Not their favorite. They're not my favorite, but we are the same people. The problem I have with them in this instance is that they insist on this narrative that they're coming to take jobs at a lower wage. Like these migrants are coming over here and negotiate and say, oh, I'll do it for that. No, the boss, the people who own the companies intentionally seek out migrant workers so that they can pay them a lower wage. They were never going to pay your black ass in, excuse me, Lord. They were never going to pay you a regular wage for that position in the first place. Second of all, your lifestyle in the United States of America as a black person is not conducive to the work the migrants will do. Let's just call a spade, because at the end of the day, we ain't getting out there and pick. What you say you saw in out there in the field where you saw
silhouettes of black people doing work. We ain't doing that in the year of our Lord 2024.
Okay.
We're not going to pick the tomatoes that they used to pick down in Fort Lauderdale, right? We're not going down into the fields and doing the work that migrants are willing to come over here and do. So all we're doing is using a false narrative, because the reason they get a lower wage is not because they're coming to negotiate down. It's because that's all the owner of the company wanted to pay in the first place, which is why they want illegal immigration. Right. And then number two, we weren't going to do that in the first place. Ain't nobody try to go. What, you going to take your kids out of school and go send them to the field so they can make 10 cents a day? Come on.
So what work is he talking about that migrants are taking? These damn, listen, white folks, get your people, like, because this ain't it. I needed more outrage on that side. What I do love about black people, they went to the internet and they took it. What we always do, we took it. And we acknowledge that it was wrong, but then we needed y'all to know what we look at black jobs to be. And then it's one woman said it was the oven light watcher, to make sure that y'all leave the oven light on at light night, to make sure that the ancestors come and season our food the proper way. And sprinkle that extra seasoning on there. Then she said the cast iron professional, the one that has been trained for 10 to 12 years to how to use a cast iron properly and how to clean it. See, this is what I love about our community. We took it and we put a lot of memes about it. Don't get that, like, don't get it twisted. We acknowledge the BS in it. We had that conversation and we took it to make sure. But we want to know what white people like Donald Trump were saying black jobs were, because what exactly do you think a black job is? That's where it becomes problematic. So anywho, that can't be your president. Somebody who can't even acknowledge the issues. And so Joe Biden himself went on and talked about what he did for black people, and that is lessen the percentage of black unemployment, especially 5 times the rate for, I think, was black businesses. But he said that he brought up black unemployment at 5 times the rate of white people. Small black businesses he assisted, he said, as well. He was talking about how he wanted to further plan, which he could have talked about what he did for HBCUs. He missed opportunities. Like, key words needed to be said right there. Key words needed to be said, but he missed those opportunities. However, Joe Biden still 100% along the way, because the man said black jobs. Joe Biden said black jobs too, but then talked about what he was doing for black folks. But still, white people, they sometimes slip up, especially that age, because they come from the era where they were saying just the ER and stuff. It's crazy. But we need to really acknowledge that your black behind and your little black job may not be safe under Donald Trump. We need to acknowledge that. Okay. We go ahead and play that clip in. We got a clip with a little bit more on the situation.
Yes. Democrats are exquisite. They're precious. They're idealists. Look, I've known Joe Biden and I love Joe Biden, and I've known Joe Biden for over 20 years. I've never seen Joe Biden like I saw him last night. Sure. It is worrisome. But to me, the binary, until Joe Biden tells me he's giving up, I'm not giving up on Joe Biden. And so to me, the binary choice remains the same. He looked elderly yesterday. He sounded
He is elderly.
He is elderly. But the choice is no different. It is a very old man versus a very bad man. It is a man who speaks with a weak voice, but tells me the truth in a weak elderly voice, and a man who lies with impunity. He is a machine gun of lies, and he does it with a stronger voice. Okay, so I'm not going to judge Joe Biden on 90 bad minutes. I'm going to judge Joe Biden on his lifetime career of putting this country first, of putting you first, of putting women's rights first, and I'm going to judge Trump on 4 debacles of years. 4 years that
All right. The audio on that was pretty bad.
The audio and the visual, it was giving really hot pink.
Yeah.
But I got the gist of it, and I think our audience did too. her stance is exactly what we saw. So we didn't get a chance to really talk about, because I know that we spoke about immediately on Leftist Mafia. He's old. It's giving old. It's giving he can't really finish a sentence. I got anxiety watching it because I felt like, and I ain't gonna lie, when Donald Trump said, when they said, so what did you think, former President Trump, what did you think about what about President Biden's words on X, Y, and Z? He said, I don't even know what he said. To be honest with you, I don't even think he knows what he said. Hey, I fell out because I said
that was a funny.
None of us knew what he said. But the thing is, he is the expert in the matter. Him being Biden is the expert in the presidential matter. The time served by the felon, Donald Trump, was a mere 4 years. Joe Biden was a VP for 8, ran in the Senate, was a senator. He did all the things. His whole life's work has been in politics, has been something surrounding helping the American people in some way, shape, or form. Yes, we know politics is dirty. Yes, we can get to the nitty gritty of how they don't really be working for us. But that aside, this is Joe Biden is the expert in the situation. But we can also say that he is elderly. We can also say that he did move slow. What do you expect a guy over 80 to, how do you expect him to be moving? Y'all made him the candidate for president.
That's right.
No, so we got to work with what we got.
That's right. That's right.
Don't sit up here now and forget that he was old. Y'all looking for VP Biden. This is 4 years in. President Biden, and he's over 80. The White House running America, siding with the ops, siding with terrible people, got blood on your hands, new blood. It ages you. Like I told you, at any time, they said, I just read this one, but anytime a man do a woman wrong, his hairline goes back a little bit. They said anytime a woman do a man wrong, her hairline slips back. They got that now. That's out there. And it's true. It's true. But I still got my hairline intact. I've been good to people. But running the White House ages you. It ages you. I don't know what it's like running my own household and I ain't got no damn kids in here. It's just me. It's aging me.
You see all these gray, you can't even see them that much. I got more gray hairs right now than I've ever in my life.
Ben's a whole daddy. A husband, I know. Listen, those things, it's just me, aging me, life. But honestly, though, life, you get older. He's blessed to see over 80. We put him in this position. When y'all went to go vote in them primaries,
come on,
y'all chose him. So at the end of the day, now we got to make a choice between these two. Y'all can't be looking at Green Party all of a sudden. Y'all can see other stuff. No, baby, we here. Focus. 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 Remember what you saw on Thursday night. I know they talked about going to golf wars because they got money. They can talk about rich golf stuff. Aside from that, focus. If we get Joe Biden in, we can make sure that the next 4 years we curate spaces for people who are going to run, and we protect those spaces and we rally around them people for when the time comes for them to run. We are there as a people, choosing somebody, not because of celebrity, not because this is all we had, but we were building people during this next 4 years to come and take space and make it make sense for the American people. We will not have a fighting chance with Donald Trump.
We won't have a democracy. Listen, and I want to make one more distinction here, Rebecca, because a lot of folks, I think they're accurate, but I also think they miss that things could get worse, right? They're accurate when they say fascism is already here. I agree. The police state is brought to you in part by both political parties, no doubt. It was a Black Democratic mayor in Atlanta that helped crack down during the George Floyd protests. It was a Black Democratic mayor, Andrew Dickens, who's behind the $90 million Cop City facility.
Mhm.
There's no question that this entire nation is underneath the control of a fascistic police state. But you know what? They want to make it worse. There's a party that wants to sustain it. That's the Democrats. Can't stand them. But there's a party that wants to make it immeasurably worse. They want to deport every illegal, and they get to define who's illegal.
Mhm.
They're even publicly planning to deport. I don't know how they're gonna pull this off, but they want to deport black folks because they think they have a black folk problem now. There's a clip that came off of Twitter where they were publicly discussing violence against black people in the name of white supremacy and Donald Trump. Right. So I'm like, do we have a horrible nation? Matter of fact, I'm at the point where I'm like, God, maybe you are going to punish America. Maybe you are going to tear America down, and this to be the end of the empire. I don't know, because America has a lot of blood on its hands since 1619. Okay. So, but the folks who are trying to bring this punishment to America are the people who are guilty of it. They want to destroy America. They want to destroy the little bit of modicum of democracy that we got left. The fact that we can actually vote and change little things. We can't change big things. The police state is going to keep police stating. They're going to keep doing what they're going to keep pouring millions of dollars into these cops instead of into libraries, instead of into education. They are going to criminalize homelessness, right? That's the measurable difference. We have a Supreme Court that just made it legal for cities to imprison people because they are homeless. If you wanted to know how it could get worse, it just got worse. And if we let Trump get into power, a lot of folks are like, oh, it's fascism anyway. Okay, but you do realize there are layers to this thing, and they're coming after every single group that's not white and rich.
Yeah. You have people who don't like black people. Then you got people who want to kill black people.
You got people who we really don't have too many great options in this country. Would you put it that way, Rebecca? We don't have a lot of good options. And this is why you have to think of it as holding the line. I would rather fight back towards progress from this point than to have to go even deeper. I would have much rather have to fight actively against Hillary Clinton than to have to now fight against the legacy of Donald Trump, which is a 6-3 Supreme Court that allows the imprisonment of homeless people, that allows the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, to have to answer to judges instead of scientists, right? That are going to let lead back into our water supply, into our, just insane things that they want to do to make things worse. So to every person who's like, yeah, fascism is already here, do you not realize that this fascism can get so much worse to the point where we can't work our way back out of it?
Come November, y'all better stop playing with your life. I don't want to. We and white people move to the side, please. Black people, we cannot allow Donald Trump. And I'm saying this specifically towards black people for a reason. Not that I know that we do not have white allies, but because black people, if they don't show up to vote because they're saying, oh, F politics or whatever, those white people who are for Donald Trump, that clan that we saw on January 6th, that has quadrupled in size, got a slap on their wrist for what they did to our state representatives, to our nation's representatives, how they got away with that. Imagine what they can get away with under Donald Trump's leadership. They blame that day on black and migrants. At Charlottesville, North Carolina. No, it's not North Carolina. I gave you a false state. Charlottesville, Virginia. When we covered that, and monuments were being knocked down. Monuments that were anti-black were being knocked down. And people got upset. And they took to the streets with tiki torches and said that Black Lives Matter was the cause. Donald Trump got on stage, took forever to denounced both sides. And that's what we can't do. We can call a thing about both sides, but we can't denounce both sides come November. We have to choose.
Or not. And y'all could just, here's the thing about it though. I have a very dark side of me that sits back and says, these people are voting for policies and these judges are making decisions that are going, and conservatives are celebrating decisions that are going to get their children killed. And part of me is like, okay, let them die. But I got kids here too. And so that part of me gets snatched back right away and makes me still fight, because we're literally dealing with the death of the planet. We have people who don't believe that climate change is real. 111 degree heat index in the city that I'm in. We don't ever see temperatures that high.
The Arctic.
New Delhi. People are dropping dead from the heat. The Arctic, I mean, yes.
No, there's 100 degrees. They measured the temperature at 100 degrees. Those snow caps that are supposed to help the environment, especially there for the animals, like the polar bears. Because look at not me caring about animals, but like the polar bears, they're never coming back. Once they're gone, like my camera, they're never coming back. They're never coming back. I say that to say, listen, we ignored so much. I remember when they were telling us this stuff was going to happen, and we ignored so much at the time, Ben, and now we have to deal with the consequences now. Let me change my camera.
Yeah. You go ahead and do that while I figure out, because I'm producing at the same time at this point. Hang on, let me see how we do this. So y'all gonna work with me. I haven't done this in years. Okay, so we took Rebecca out while she fixes her camera, and I'm narrating as we go. Go ahead and keep talking, Rebecca. I can lip sync while you do it. But no, seriously, all jokes aside, we're dealing with people. And what's amazing to me also is that even Elon Musk, I know Elon Musk is a fascist. I called it many, many years ago. But, there was still this thread of, well, at least he appeals to science. Now he's joining on the bandwagon of climate change being a hoax, right? Vivek Ramaswamy, the young, tech, whatever he tries to sell himself as, he actually made the statement that that climate change regulation will kill more people than actual climate change. Now, scientists are predicting if we don't bring this thing under control, we could see 1 billion people dead. People are already starting to die by the hundreds. And we have an entire ecosystem of people who think it's a game, who lie about it, who joke about it, and worse, they make policies that are exacerbating it. And now we're dealing with the very real reality that our planet will no longer be inhabitable. COVID-19, like, forget about that. Like, we don't even talk about that no more. People are just getting sick over and over again and having long COVID, and people still dying, morgues still being filled, right? But we're dealing with people who are anti-vax. Now, we can also tie in the police state with this, because you got Black Democratic mayors like Karen Bass who are trying to say, let's ban masks so that they can protect the security state, right? The ability for facial recognition. We got bad, and we got immeasurably worse. And I just don't see why people can't come to grips with that and just deal with the cards that we dealt with. We got an old man, number one, old man, number two. Old man number one got a bad history. Joe Biden don't got a good history in my book, right? But what he's doing right now is far less damaging to the future of my children than what the Make America Great Again coalition wants to do.
Absolutely. And I want to point out too, because you talked about I forgot. It was so good. No, Ben, I had a good point and I just forgot. No, all of this to the side, though, not to the side, but all of this in the conversation needs to be had, because I don't want to miss our abortion portion of it.
Yes. They
started off with abortion, which is that's a big one. and Roe versus Wade and the removal, your president, which is our president, decided to take that moment, started off strong, baby, for 2 seconds, and then started going into the migrant murder of a girl. It got crazy because, sir, focus. Because now you're playing into that whole the conversation of migrants being the problem here. Focus. But that other man on the side, Donald Trump, was like, hey, yo, listen. We did that. I put people on the Supreme Court, made sure they did what they needed to do. They all wanted it. And we know what those courts look like. It's usually like white male led. And they don't understand anything about the female anatomy. Yet they pay for so many procedures to help them and their lives. But with that being said, he's like, they wanted it. He kept repeating, this is what they wanted. This is what they wanted. They said this will be good. This is what they wanted. Basically, again, your president acting in a business aspect. And so not caring about people, but what they wanted, the people that he appointed, because they knew that once he became president, the relationship would allow them to be appointed, and then they can do things like this. Roll back something that took so long. Rights for women. My goodness, our right to choose. Took it away. Just like that. We went to sleep. We wasn't even expecting it. Woke up, gone. Under Donald Trump. He literally was saying something about, but the exceptions. He was like, take a listen, because take a listen to the exchange. And I hope we have both parties on this one. Let's take a listen.
All right, let's see what we got, Rebecca.
Elected. The problem they have is they're radical because they will take the life of a child in the 8th month, the 9th month, and even after birth. After birth, if you look at the former governor of Virginia, he was willing to do this. He said, we'll put the baby aside and we'll determine what we do with the baby, meaning we'll kill the baby. What happened is we brought it back to the states, and the country is now coming together on this issue. It's been a great thing.
Thank you. President Biden?
It's been a terrible thing, what you've done. The fact is that the vast majority of constitutional scholars supported Roe when it was decided, supported Roe. And that's this idea that they were all against it is just ridiculous. And
No, roll them. No, I need you to roll each clip back to back, David. You said you got them. Let's roll them.
Oh, David's here?
Yeah.
I'm over here working.
And everybody wanted to get it back to the states. Everybody, without exception. Democrats, Republicans, liberals, conservatives. Everybody wanted it back. Religious leaders. And what I did is I put 3 great Supreme Court justices on the court, and they happened to vote in favor of killing Roe v. Wade and moving it back to the states. This is something that everybody wanted. Now, complex. The problem they have is they're radical because there have been many young women murdered by the same people he allows to come across our border. We have a border that's the most dangerous place anywhere in the world, considered the most dangerous place anywhere in the world. And he opened it up, and these killers are coming into our country, and they are raping and killing women. And it's a terrible thing. As far as the abortion is concerned, it is now back with the states. The states are voting. In many cases, it's frankly a very liberal decision. In many cases, it's the opposite. And it's bringing it back to the vote of the people, which is what everybody wanted, including the founders, if they knew about this issue, which frankly they didn't. But they would have, everybody wanted it brought back. Ronald Reagan wanted it brought back. He wasn't able to get it. Everybody wanted it brought back. And many presidents had tried to get it back. I was the one to do it. And again, this gives it the vote of the people. And that's where they wanted it. Every legal scholar wanted it that way.
If I'm elected, I'm going to restore Roe v. Wade.
So that means he can take the life of the baby in the 9th month and even after birth, because some states, Democrat run, take it after birth. Again, the former governor of Virginia, put the baby down, then we decide what to do with it. So he's willing to, as we say, rip the baby out of the womb in the 9th month and kill the baby. Nobody wants that to happen, Democrat or Republican. Nobody wants it to happen.
That is simple. Since I've changed the law, what's happened? I've changed it in a way that now you're in a situation where there are 40% fewer people coming across the border.
I think that was what all we had in consecutively.
This is there's not a state in our union that allows for late term abortions, period, except for the life of the mother.
Like a DNC, like a when
I can grab that Virginia clip if you want while you guys are breaking it down.
There's no state in the union where you can take the life of a baby after they're born. That's murder, infanticide, right? There's actually laws on the books for that. The problem I have with Joe on this is that he wasn't able to like shoot it down because the moderators weren't gonna debunk that lie. And so Donald Trump got to say it with all this confidence. And the thing is, it almost even doesn't matter if somebody debunks it because his people believe it no matter what. They believe, they want the lies. MAGA wants the lies. They cannot exist in the world without the lies because their entire worldview is based on these lies. So, you know, I'm upset with Joe for not being sharp enough to debunk all the lies in real time. But at the same time, all of MAGA base, they want the lies. They're going to live in those lies.
No matter what, no matter how it is presented to them, they will eat it up. They will fall off the cliff with those lies. We saw with January 6th off of lies. If he can literally build a cult like that off of those lies, we saw what happened in Charlottesville off of those lies. Y'all, let's be for real. We cannot allow and continue this. Let this continue to happen. Yet I don't know if there's anything that we can really say to the dumb people in the front, in the back, and on the sides. The ones that told us, this is the same man that told you to inject ivermectin into your body.
Yeah. No, bleach
to drink.
Bleach. People
were taking shots, injecting all kinds of things, but yet he went and got the COVID shot.
Yes. Brought us the vaccine, by the way, and he won't take credit for the vaccine now because his audience is so brain dead. MAGA is so brain dead that they reject the very COVID vaccine that was brought to us by Donald Trump. He can't even take credit for it anymore. He's had to set aside his one achievement that was actually an achievement for everybody. The fact that we got a vaccine, it usually takes many, many years for us to get a vaccine. The vaccine was brought to us at Operation Warp Speed. Brought to us by Donald Trump. Thank you, Donald Trump. But he can't even take credit for it because his supporters are that brain dead.
Absolutely. And because he said what he said, when it came to abortion, we saw many people take to the streets, calling people murderers. We've seen an influx of bomb threats to Planned Parenthood,
yes.
Or shootouts, or of threats of mass murders at Planned Parenthood in the name of saving babies. Come on. You see, it doesn't sound right. It's dumb. It's dumb.
It's in vitro fertilization now, right?
They're saying that's what they're trying to attack that. And here's my problem. Go ahead, Ben.
No. Go ahead. You got it.
And here's my problem with all of it. Anything that has to do with the anatomy of a woman, these people want to take our rights.
That's right.
We took our rights for the abortion, and people are going for IVF, which is people are dumb. IVF, which is for women to be able to have children. They want to attack that right now. What is it that you want? What is it that you want to? Why? We can't win nowhere
because they worship the embryo.
Mm-hmm.
They worship a potential embryo. Like it's not even like the whole purpose of IVF is to help a woman to conceive, but they are so focused on the fact that in the process there may be failed attempts and it requires multiple attempts for them to properly accomplish it, right? They worship this clump of cells over the life of the mother, over the life of the child after the child is born. And what it is nothing more than a bait and switch. It gives particularly white men, right? Don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of black folks in this conversation when it comes to abortion, but it's being forwarded and it has been built off of the backs of white men trying to sustain white supremacy. It gives them something that they can sound moral
about. They can sound like they are good people because they're standing up for the life of children, when at the end of the day, they're doing everything they can to destroy the life of the mother as well as the life of the child after it's born.
Yep. Donald Trump stated, and I wish we had that clip because I didn't make this up. He said, I believe in the exceptions, in which we know rape, incest, you know, that type of pregnancy. I think if the life of the mother, he was saying, is at risk. And that has to be like a special risk case. Then he said, follow your heart. Swear to God.
I'm going to
Donald
Trump, and I'll
Trump,
look for that for you.
Donald Trump told them people who got uterus, I believe in the exceptions, but yeah, if you choose that, follow your heart. That's what you want your president to be? I ain't gonna lie, Roe versus Wade saved my life. Saved my life in real time. It gave me the ability to understand my option to choose and my right to choose. It gave me the understanding of how important that is. And once it was taken away, I imagined 25-year-old Rebecca having to go right now, if this was now in 2024, without Roe versus Wade, having to go through life without making the decision that I made. I don't think I would have made it. So
I wanted Rachel Atwood had a comment saying, don't they know the majority of abortion seekers already have children? And I think this is really important. 72% of abortions are rooted in financial struggle. They're majority married and they already have children. Now, not a single one of these white nationalist Christian devils is going to tell you that, because all we really have to do, if they really, and Rebecca, everybody has their position on it. I am as pro-life as a pro-choice person can be. But if they really wanted to stop abortions, we could raise taxes by 3% and cut down on 72% of abortions. But not every one of those white Christian devils will do that, because money is more valuable to them than the life of the children that they claim to be so concerned over.
But they'll fly that woman out to whatever state, the same ones that wrote that signed off on that law to eradicate Roe versus Wade. They'll go ahead and fly they little side pieces or whatever out to whatever state is allowing it at this moment, the few states, and make sure that they get the job done there and be able to fly them in. So it is, I believe 100%, it is a fight. If my finances aren't good, how am I going to be able to take care of a baby? They're telling you to have this baby, then they forget about it. They're not giving you a check to keep up with this baby. They're not giving you a check to go ahead and put this baby in expensive behind preschools or daycares while you go to work. No one can, and then you can't afford a babysitter. So you got to stay home. Now you can't afford your home because you can't afford no food to feed your kids. Like, it's a whole thing. Then they want to say it's Black people in marginalized communities that just have this living that they have, which is causing their kids not to be able to go to school clean or have food or whatever. Y'all want people to have kids and then don't want to take care of them. They're telling you, I do not have the means to have this child. Then they're saying it's because you went and had sex.
Right. And then, oh God, see, they don't really want to talk about this, Rebecca, because now they're going after contraception, right? Now they're going after IVF contraception. It has always been about the ability to control women's bodies, period. That's what it is. Because, well, I mean, we could really get into like the psychology of it, but I don't care about that so much as the history of it. It is a consistent history of controlling women and their choices. And because they get pregnant because of all these men, God, Rebecca, if they really wanted to stop abortion, there are 50 dozen ways that we can do it that does not require them punishing women and making it illegal.
sending doctors, OBGYNs get 5 years in Texas if they perform an abortion, right? They think that that is a way to achieve it, but they will never look at the causes and the reasons. And the causes and the reasons are rooted in capitalism, but they won't talk about that because they worship money over life.
Yep, they sure do. And your life is at stake. Your child's life is at stake. The child you don't want, life's at stake. Your choices are at stake. Come on, y'all. Let's be for real. When we look at these situations, it's not about the lesser of two evils, all that. We can talk about that. But there are so many things for Americans living in America. Right now, we got to deal with our issues at our front door. And right now, it's who's going to be the next leader in this particular moment. The little rights that we do have right now, they will be taken away from you. Not only you as a woman, LGBTQIA+, they're coming.
Yes.
They're coming for you. They're coming for you. They're coming for people just like, they're coming for migrants. They're coming for all of the people. I would vote for your Cuban ass. If you get here and you ain't got it, they taking you back too. If you just a shade too dark. Stop playing in people's face. They're coming for all of us under Donald Trump. They want to make sure there's a group of people that follow Donald Trump to the ends of the earth that believe in a more Aryan race. Donald Trump is down with it. He's down with it. He doesn't denounce it. He doesn't strike it down. He allows this to be what MAGA centers itself around.
Stand back and stand by is what he says to him.
Okay. Remember when
Proud Boys?
Let's never forget what happened with the kneeling. That's why we look at the American flag the way we do. That's when I started to look at the American flag crazy. Under Donald Trump. When the football player, what's his name?
Which one?
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah.
When he decided to kneel, Donald Trump and friends and all them little leaders over at the NFL made sure that man never had a career again, no matter how great he played. They wanted his play when he was just a black player. And he's half white. So if they can come for the half whites, if y'all think y'all listen, they coming for you too. You white identifying mixed person, they're coming for you too. But Colin Kaepernick kneeled in the name of anti-police brutality, in the name of equality. And he never saw the day of light on an NFL field again.
Never.
Because Donald Trump and his business friends in the NFL, Donald Trump made sure that every moment he could, he called Colin Kaepernick a son of a bitch. Your president in 2016 to 2020 made sure that he led those initiatives in the White House.
Rebecca, I want real quick, because before I think David's going to run this clip, but I also want to contextualize this for the pure lack of morality that exists amongst the very people who are trying to control women's bodies, the same people who are attacking the LGBTQ community. There is a correlation. I won't say it's causal, but the number of these white Christian pastors and deacons and church youth ministers and all these who are out here fondling and molesting children are the same people who are out here saying women should not have the right to choose. They're the same people who are saying gay people should not have the right to get married. They say those two things because it gives them the appearance that they're godly. It gives them the appearance that they're moral. Meanwhile, they're covering up 700 cases of rape and molestation in the Southern Baptist Church, a couple thousand cases of rape and molestation in the Catholic Church, a few hundred in the Mormon Church, and they are all actively still covering these things up. And so they use these two issues, abortion and LGBTQ rights, to say that they're good, God-fearing Christians. Meanwhile, they are doing some of the most, so much so that they have child molestation insurance for churches now. Did you know that? Churches are not required to, but they are offered insurance to cover that church just in case somebody in that church happens to molest somebody. That's how prevalent it is. These are the people who are saying, oh, they're so moral and we can't have abortions. Oh, you gay people can't get married. Meanwhile, they're raping little children.
Mm-hmm. When under Donald Trump, who don't even really go to church, hold the Bible upside down, can't
2 Corinthians
recite a verse. Exactly, 2 Corinthians. The same person that has how many felonies? 36 or 30
and more coming.
Okay, and more coming. And he's a felon. The same person. And some of those are sexual.
Oh, we didn't talk
abuse
about
allegations.
We didn't. I talked about children. We didn't talk about sexual assault of women.
Okay, and that's your president represents. Not our current president right now. Former president that y'all want to make president again. I want y'all to think about this. This is easy. If we just get through this, we can make sure while Joe Biden is in play, we can make sure we hold him accountable while we're like, again, curating and helping grow somebody else to take the position. If this is not a message for us to do what we need to do now more than ever, I don't know, but we got to do this one thing and we have to do it collectively. We got to do it together. But go ahead and play this clip because we got to go. Look, while we got to
I just wanted to say that's the thing, Rebecca. Ben said more coming. Not if he gets elected. Then those trials are out the window if he gets elected. But this is a clip of the Virginia governor, former Virginia governor. He was asked about late-term abortion when he was in office. This is, I don't know how many years ago, and it's been taken out of context. This is what Trump was referring to.
No exception. There was a very contentious committee hearing yesterday when Fairfax County Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion, even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you first thing I would say, this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities. There may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion. But again, we want the government not to be involved in these types of decisions. We want the decision to be made by the mothers and their providers. And this is why, Julie, that legislators, most of whom are men, by the way, shouldn't be telling a woman what she should and shouldn't be doing with her body.
Yeah, and clearly, that's exactly what we just said. And it's coming from a professional. Yeah, it's coming from a professional. And so, listen, I don't. Which one is this one? Oh, I don't, because I'm all up in David. Look, David's, that's your Twitter information. I don't want us to miss the mark here. Abortion is a big issue. We need to bring back Roe versus Wade. Okay. Migrants are important to this country. We need to make sure that we protect them. Okay. And under Donald Trump, it's not going to happen. Terrorist attacks. We got to make sure our country is safe from the terrorists amongst us. We will not act like January 6th was not a domestic terrorist attack. Let's be for real. And that's under Donald Trump. Us and our involvement within other countries and their issue. And we're going to talk about the one that's on the main stage right now, Palestine. Where our president stand matters. We are actually being led by one where we don't like his stance on it
at all.
But He's offering them a grain of rice. I'm not saying that's the best, but the other one is literally saying obliterate them and be done with it. This shouldn't be our issue anymore. Obliterate the people and be done with it. If he can do that to them, right here, baby, he will do that to each marginalized community until they look like quite white. He wants it to be that.
Look at the Philadelphia movement. What they did to them, I believe it was 1987. They literally bombed an entire block of black folks.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think for a second that we aren't cordoned off into no-go zones, right? Everybody knows if you want to get to the black community, you cross certain railroad tracks, you cross MLK Boulevard, and you go to the other side of it, and you cross another MLK Boulevard, and you got all the black people in that one area. Don't believe for a second that the violence that we saw in Palestine isn't something that these white Christian devils, I saw somebody in the chat room had a problem with that. Yes, these white Christian devils. Don't think for a second this is not something that they would not go after. Hell, they're actively talking about it on Twitter.
Yeah. Yep.
1985. Thank you.
Let's not forget that Joe Biden. Donald Trump blamed January 6th on Nancy Pelosi and her daughter at the debate. Inflation. He said that inflation is what's killing black folks. It's killing our jobs. It's killing black people. Migrants are the cause of inflation, and inflation is killing black people. So that's what Donald Trump said.
Migrants caused inflation.
He said he's responsible for water in America, Donald Trump. And we talked about employment and how he looks at black jobs and Hispanic jobs in comparison to white jobs. So we're here, they're there. Marginalization of people, of our jobs, what is acceptable for women's bodies. All of these things matter. That means your future matter, your kids matter, your life matter, your job matters. All of these things. And for the allies, you know what it looks like to be an ally with us, because then they'll start coming after you.
Yes.
They start coming after your things. We saw Kyle Rittenhouse come after 2 allies.
That's right.
Kill them and walk free. Okay? So let's make sure if you need to go back and watch it, now outside of us watching it in the first run live, yes, we laughed, we called the thing a thing, we said we did the age thing because that is we put this as a choice. We got to deal with it now. Okay? But all of those factors are real. We discussed it. Now let's go to the next level. Let's self-reflect. Let's do that. Let's reflect on that again. If you have to go back and watch it and look at that debate again and think about your future, please do so, because that's where we're at right now. And then once, hopefully we win, do not think that we gonna wax that ass at the White House under the Biden administration. We need to clean house. But we cannot do that if we allow Donald Trump to win.
That's right. That's right.
So
that's right.
That's what we at the end of the show too. Okay. I hope that you got what you needed. I thank you, Ben, for rocking with me today. We did the same kind of like denim, color. It's given. You know what I'm saying? I see it.
That's all right.
Yeah, I see it. But today is Saturday. I hope that you guys go and be great. Again, go do some reflection. The sun's kind of out where I'm at. I need to take a walk. I feel like I had a long week, a little bit of lack of sleep. But if you are here and you rocking with us thus far, because we've been with you for a little minute on the day, that means you like what you're watching. So make sure you head to patreon.com/like it or not. Patreon.com/like it or not. Again, your girl is free, unemployed. And I'm trying to do this full time. So if you can, please support the bill for this platform, for this particular system that we are using is coming up, and it's on auto draft from my account. We got to make sure we got it in there.
Y'all send some cash apps over to Rebecca Azor. Let me see what it is on the screen. Becca's voice on cash.
Becca's voice, please.
All over the building. I need 10 people to send $10.
That'll be great.
Send $5.
Ben, you got the whole preacher pastor,
I'm working on it. I don't do it at church, but I'll do it here.
Okay, look, your girl needed. But please do. Thank you guys in advance. We're at the end of the show. Okay. I hope what's your name? David. I really hope that you had a good birthday, because I know you had to share that with us, with Black folks on Juneteenth. I hope that you had a really good birthday, because you keep interjecting like your day needs to, like, I'm gonna let you interject, because I know that day I kept coming at you. I kept coming at you. I know Juneteenth we shared it with you.
He about to play. He's got a white clip of one of the coolest white guys I've ever known.
So we'll let him rock that.
We're gonna
close that after you guys were done. I wasn't
guy.
gonna interrupt again, because I've been rude today. I've been the rude white guy today, so I wasn't gonna interject again. I was gonna just close out with those and then the theme. But
well, I need them to know whatever's white on the show that's played, it comes from our white producer. No, I love you, David. I love you. Thank you for interjecting. It's necessary. So go ahead and drop the video. Y'all, we're out of here. I love you guys so much. I mean it. Everybody, have a beautiful rest of your day. We'll see you next Saturday right here on Like It or Not. Bye.
Conservatives are really something, aren't they? They're all in favor of the unborn. They will do anything for the unborn. But once you're born, you're on your own. Pro-life conservatives are obsessed with the fetus from conception to 9 months. After that, they don't want to know about you. They don't want to hear from you. No, nothing. No neonatal care, no daycare, no Head Start, no school lunch, no food stamps, no welfare, no nothing. If you're pre-born, you're fine. If you're preschool, you're fucked. You're fucked. Conservatives don't give a shit about you until you reach military age. Then they think you are just fine, just what they've been looking for. Conservatives want live babies so they can raise them to be dead soldiers. Pro-life. Pro-life. These people aren't pro-life, they're killing doctors. What kind of pro-life is that? What, they'll do anything they can to save a fetus, but if it grows up to be a doctor, they just might have to kill it? They're not pro-life. You know what they are? They're anti-woman. Simple as it gets. Anti-woman. They don't like them. They don't like women. They believe a woman's primary role is to function as a broodmare for the state. Pro-life. And speaking to my friends, the Catholics, when John Cardinal O'Connor of New York and some of these other cardinals and bishops have experienced their first pregnancies and their first labor pains, and they've raised a couple of children on minimum wage, then I'll be glad to hear what they have to say about abortion. I'm sure it'll be interesting. Enlightening, too. But in the meantime, what they ought to be doing is telling these priests who took a vow of chastity to keep their hands off the altar boys. Keep your hands to yourself, Father. Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Yeah. Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out. If you have selfish, ignorant citizens, you're going to get selfish, ignorant leaders. So maybe it's not the politicians who suck. Maybe something else sucks around here, like the public. Yeah, the public sucks. There's a nice campaign slogan for somebody. The public sucks, fuck hope.
Doing here is not going to stop when it comes to these type of discussions. It's going to be for us and by us here on this platform when the media is telling us to look the other way. Your support is what helps us move forward. Join patreon.com/like it or not. Help us grow.
Like it or not, y'all. 2023. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for Like It or Not. With Rebecca Azure. Let's start this damn show. It's time for Like It or Not. Rebecca Azor is in the house. You know she got a funny story to tell. Talking politics, culture, or real life ish. I live in life in the ATL. Benjamin, yeah, that's my man. He's always coming up with the master plan. Politics scheming, or trying to find the meaning of life. Or why the feds keeps us in strife.
I'm your DJ. I really don't need no introduction right now, but you know what? I stay dropping them jams. Y'all know who I am. Good Hope, Dad Jokes, Culture Ish, Politics, what you hear.